Hey Taylor, yeah, we are keeping an eye on these storms as they keep on moving east across the metro. Uh, Biggest change that's happened in the past few minutes is we've seen these storms go a lot further from hail and going toward more of a wind mode as they're forming a nice line across I-35 corridor. We do still have one storm up here. It's by Lake Aluma, by Spencer. Um, it's got a pretty good core on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were some good nickels, maybe some isolated 1 inch hail in that zone right now. Depends on when it's dropping, and we'll hopefully maybe get some reports out of this area. But at the moment, it's looking pretty cool. Not too long a lifespan at the moment, but that's kind of how these storms have been. They've been very quick pop-up storms moving all across the area. The biggest thing, as I mentioned, was the change that's becoming more of a wind mode. We have a lot of outflow boundaries shooting off all over the place. You can see a few of the big ones here, one big one by Newcastle, and several that are going north across Piedmont and Edmond. He's been making winds gusts up to like 45, 50 miles per hour. I know we had at one point earlier on, I think it was toward Piedmont, we had 160 mile or 58 mile per hour wind gusts. That was our first time crossing the severe threshold for wind today. But most of these have been sub-severe and just really just responding to the chaos of these storms as they're all popping up everywhere. It's been pretty hectic, but it's certainly making a lot of rain across our area at the moment, which, as we talked about earlier, is definitely a pretty main hazard as people are getting ready for their evening commute. So that's what we're taking a look at. What else are we looking for, Taylor?
Yeah, thanks, Xander. We appreciate you jumping over there while I fixed my mic issue, and I do think that it sounds a lot better now. John, how does the mic sound? Sounds good? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Now, as Xander was talking about, we have seen some pretty interesting activity across our radar this afternoon, obviously impeding your evening commute, thankfully bringing us some much needed moisture. Now, this is our Edmond camera that we've got faced off to the east right now. If you can look at this, you've got some pretty decent clouds that look very, very scary. Now, these are what you would say is your textbook scary looking clouds, an SLC, if you will. What we see right now is maybe a little bit of rotation, but we don't see a ton of lowering. So I'm not too terribly concerned with this right here. And you can also see that our surface is a little spotty in this area as well. Now, I think that a lot of people have felt this sentiment in Edmond, where we saw power flash earlier. We did see some of those strong winds as well. Now, John, I want to get back to the radar, and I want to take a look at the radar that we see across the metro, because I think a lot of people are asking, now, is it something to be concerned about? Is this something that we actually need to be concerned about? And if you want to pull, there you go, perfect. I want to show you and just kind of go city by city here. Xander broke down, those pockets of heavy rain, maybe a little bit of wind with this perfectly earlier. Amber, you are not in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. However, if you go a little bit to the east, you're going to get some heavy rain across Blanchard and Newcastle. Going up 44 and into 35 here, you've got more. You're about to get some rain as well. It's going to be pretty short-lived. Now, this thing is moving pretty slow, but it is pretty short-lived across 35. If you go a little bit farther to the northeast and into Oklahoma City, that's where we've got another pocket of heavy rain. But again, as Xander mentioned earlier, the severe risks here have greatly been reduced from what we saw about an hour ago. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning outside of Edmond. Now, this is moving to the northeast on the east side of Edmond. This is actually what we've got on our Edmond camera right now. We were talking about, as a group of meteorologists, we have about 17 meteorologists here at Hail Trace, and they were all talking about that storm looks like it needs to be warned. It looks like it needs to be warned. And sure enough, the National Weather Service, they were on top of it. They warned it. We've got a little pocket of heavy rain here. We've got a nice core with this. 60 mile per hour wind speeds and quarter-sized hail is what this storm is warned for. And honestly, I would probably be more interested in the wind than the hail risk on this. Xander, is that kind of what you think here? Probably the wind. He's saying yes. Yeah. If we zoom out across all of Oklahoma, we've got a little line that rides all the way up 44 with scattered spotty showers and storms just to the north of Tulsa. Now, just a reminder here that we are still in a flood watch for 1 to up to 3 inches of rain, widespread. And then we've also got isolated, maybe 4 inches of rain across the metro. Now, if that comes down too fast, that could absolutely increase our flooding chances. And I know a lot of people are wondering, what about the rest of the evening? All right, it rained now. Are we going to see another round of rain? I actually want to get to our future radar here, and I want to take a look at what to expect over the next few hours. Give this just a minute to load in, and then we're going to take a look at what the roads look right now in just a few minutes. All right, let's take a look at Oklahoma. You can see it on the side of the screen right to my left here. We expected storms to come in. Honestly, they came in a little early. We expected that line of storms to fire a little bit later on tonight. Here's what I want you to watch. See that rain out there in Elk City late tonight? What are we talking about, 11:30 tonight? Could that make it into Oklahoma City by early tomorrow morning? Let's not count it out. There you go. There's your morning commute tomorrow. So that's why our flood watch is not just issued for storms right now. This is kind of priming our roads to be really wet for your evening commute. Now all of your soil is nice and saturated. You get more rain on top of that, especially through the early morning hours during your next morning commute. There you go. Now you may have some flooding issues. So while most of this evening should be nice and dry, get out there, enjoy the nice evening. It should be a little bit cooler for you as well. There you go. There's your flooding issues tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning is when I really want you to watch for that flooding issue. All right, let's get out to your current road conditions. Haley has our road conditions for us. What does it look like out there on the roads? Probably nice and wet, right? Oh yeah, look at that road spray. We've got a semi going through, spraying that water up behind it. Anyone who's behind that semi is going to get some reduced visibility. We've got lots of rain coming down right now. This is the Turner Turnpike looking to the west. So as you go up to Tulsa, this is probably your view right now. We always have problems on the Turner Turnpike, especially with all the construction that's going on right now. You got rain on top of that. That is not a good mix. Again, what Xander said earlier is you don't have to worry about the hail too much in here. You may have to worry about some strong wind speeds. Now, before we hop off of here, because we're kind of winding down on this severe weather risk, and we don't want to keep you too long here, but I want to get one last look of the radar. And then we're going to go back to Xander one more time so he can tell us about this. Do we still have the severe thunderstorm warning? We do. Okay. So one last wrap up here. What we're watching for here is a line of storms that's still moving through the metro. If you have that commute from Oklahoma City down to Norman, it's going to be a wet one. It's probably going to be a pretty slow one. Anytime we get rain like this on the highway, this seems to back up. 35 seems to back up really, really poorly. I want to talk one last time about this severe thunderstorm warning that's in Edmond right now. Again, it's warned for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. This is what we call your garden variety storm. It is garden variety severe thunderstorm warning. We are barely hitting over severe thresholds here, but I want to pinpoint, some of those little micro areas. Maybe we're finding a core in here that could look a little bit more intimidating. Let's go to Xander for that information. Xander, what do you see from this radar right here?
Yeah, at the moment, this radar, we had this pretty nice core we mentioned earlier where there might have been some isolated quarter-size hail in there. We actually just saw that core vanish on radar, so we're expecting that any hail that might have been in there has at this point already fallen out, and now we're really just dealing with rain down in this main zone. So we can expect the National Weather Service to probably change their opinion of this storm and to no longer be expecting any kind of potential severe hail with it. Their main concern now is going to shift to the wind threat, which I'm looking at mainly up here in my top right screen. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of these outflow boundaries in this area, you can see one right over here by Jones. This kind of stuff is going to be maybe like 45 to 50 mile per hour. I'd say with this storm in particular, as it's moving toward the northeast, it has a good structure to it. It has good potential. You could maybe see up to 55 mile per hour wind gusts with it. But in general, as with many of these storms, we're seeing these wind gusts stay below severe levels. So very strong. They'll blow things around, and they won't be fun to drive in. They won't be fun to be outside in. But certainly nothing too chaotic for this particular Monday.
That's what everyone wants to hear before they hit the road, right? Not fun to drive in. Okay, well, severe thunderstorm warning, but it does look like it's weakening right now, so we may see that be lifted here in just a few minutes. Of course, the meteorologist at Hail Trace will be tracking that for you. It's a lot more than just me and Xander in the studio right now. We have several other mapping Mets who are on their computers making sure that they're mapping this storm so that it appears on hailtrace.com for not only a wind and a hail map. We've also got Haley back here looking at the road conditions for you, showing you you those traffic cameras. And we've got John producing for you this afternoon. So we appreciate all of our meteorologists. We appreciate the Hail Trace team for making this live possible. Make sure that you like and subscribe for more weather information, and catch our noon show tomorrow to get an update on your daily forecast. All right, thanks for joining us today.